Welcome to the squad. He's Icewater, I'm Puma. And do us a favor, like, share, comment, subscribe to our channel. We're here 24 hours, 7 days a week. We never close, folks. Let's talk about college football. And then there were two. Indiana will be facing the Miami Hurricanes and Michael Irvin. No, just the Miami Hurricanes. And I got to say, we were talking before the show, man. I'm really impressed with Indiana. They've beaten the brakes off teams. They're not playing. They want this national championship. I think Miami is talented enough, but will they come with the attitude and that physical play that got them here and be able to withstand them grown ass men with Indiana? Because there are a lot of grown men playing that team. Your thoughts, man?
Yeah, I mean, when you look at it from the standpoint, after even when Indiana beat Ohio State in the Big Ten championship, they started to believe in themselves and kept growing and growing, and they haven't stopped yet. And I think that the way that they were able to dismantle Oregon again was major for them for their confidence. And I think now they probably feel like they probably played the best teams possible, and they're ready to handle business. And Miami, on the other hand, not to say they got lucky because I was always said when you looked at them early on paper, they can match up with anybody. The question was for me with Miami was where would they be at? Where would they come up? Would they come in with their heads in the game, or would they try to come up with cocky, pompous attitudes? But it seems like the coaches kind of righted the ship, if you will, and they have now found a way to continue to advance.
Now, you were telling me about the coaches at Ole Miss because if we roll it back a little bit, the Ole Miss and Miami game, you were telling me about the coaches that were pulled away from Ole Miss the day before the game against Miami to go to LSU because Lane Kiffin was saying, "Hey, listen, we need you here right now. Can't coach this game. We need you here right now," which is really kind of that's kind of sad and petty by Lane Kiffin because they wouldn't let you coach, but they had coaches there. And so I don't know if that had a part to play in Ole Miss kind of falling short, but they played one hell of a game and almost won that game. But I said last week, Beck was the guy that I felt that would really kind of show his kind of mettle. And he was poised in that last, their last possession and ran that ball in. It was like, that's a pro quarterback right there.
Yeah, and I can see where you would say that because he did step up. Particularly surprised me with that last minute run. I mean, the reason why he was so wide open to run, because I guarantee you, when they came up with the game plan, nobody said Beck was going to run the run.
Right.
So he just walked in there. Literally, he walked in for that last touchdown. But that's what you're supposed to do when you play quarterback. My only thing with the from Miami is this though. So Ole Miss was kind of new to it, right? Kiffin wasn't there. They were playing hard to get, but they had never really been there on that stage. Indiana suffered a tough loss last year, and they've been building up. And they probably feel like they played one of the best teams in earlier, like I said, against Ohio State. And I don't think they have a fear. So we're gonna find out if Beck is the truth because we just want to find out are they ready because it's going to take a hell of an effort. You're not going to, the other thing too, Miami likes to make turnovers and they have a lot of penalties. What they have like 10 penalties last time. You're not going to come in here, you're not going to come in versus Indiana and be undisciplined. If you do that, you might be down like everybody else has been down in the postseason. So I just think that if they don't come in focused and poised, I don't think you can have 10 penalties against Indiana and win. And that says a lot about Miami, and maybe they will prove us wrong again. On paper, they can match up with anybody, but besides looking at the talent on paper, they also have to execute, limit their mistakes, and come in and play almost mistake-free football. And that's something that Indiana prides itself on doing. And they're going to play, I think they're going to play old school Big Ten football for a while. They're going to try to beat them up, punish them, and do what they can to just be spot on. The question is Miami going to get outside the box and try to do all the stuff they've been doing for the last couple of weeks and kind of flying by the seat of their pants? And Indiana's going to try to squash it. Again, coming down to control the time of possession offensively. It's gonna
Yeah,
be a lot of. It's gonna be tight. It's gonna be almost like you watch old time Big Ten football. But the difference here is if they wear them down, Indiana can score 40 on you
yeah.
because you're tired.
I'm just looking forward to a great game. I have no dog in this race. I'm looking forward. Apparently these are the two top teams in the country. They proved it. They're there. So
I'm gonna
I'm looking
just say
forward.
one last thing, and I know I'm gonna catch hell for this, but I don't even care. We've been hearing about this forever. SEC, SEC, SEC. But if Indiana wins, three straight Big Ten teams will have won the national championship. But yet, all we hear have heard for the last 5 years, SEC. And I'm not mad at them, but you never see the Big Ten coming off bumping their chest, looking how great we are. Right now, the last 3 years have been about results, and they win. You gotta have give them some love because when those major big time coaches have left with Saban and some other guys have been moved around, it's not the same. It's not the same in the SEC.
Yeah, and they've been like considered the top conference in the country. They can't do that anymore. They can't, and you can't load them in the playoffs like that anymore because they're not that good of a conference anymore. They're just not. And so, yeah, we'll both be in trouble because everybody's always beating their chest about the SEC. But you got to give it to the Big Ten. They're loaded, and like you said, if they win, this will be the third time in 3 years that they've won the national championship coming out of the
And
Big Ten.
last thing on this, and I know they're gonna come for me for this. That's why Notre Dame will not join the Big Ten
No, they
conference.
won't. They won't. They won't. They can't hang. They can't hang in Big Ten,
No.
and they're afraid. They're afraid. They're afraid. They would never see the playoffs if they got in the Big Ten, or it'll take them like 40, 50 years to get there. They're
Yeah,
not going to get there.
because USC is getting better.
Yep.
UCLA is probably going to be better.
Yep. Oregon is in the
Washington,
mix.
Oregon is they're gonna reload. It's a lot of things going on. Yeah, we don't know what's gonna happen with Nebraska, Wisconsin, Penn State is gonna come back. So it's a lot of teams out there that you got to be ready for. And I'm just saying, we will see what happens.
Let's talk some grown man football, man. The playoffs started over the weekend. You have Pittsburgh and Houston tonight. We're going to cut this show a little short to get to that game. But Buffalo, I thought Jacksonville might sneak Buffalo because I don't trust Buffalo after those four Super Bowls. They haven't really been, coming to play in the last few years, and always Mahomes there. But you said something in our NFL pick show that this may be the year because Mahomes and Marmar is not there. So it may be Buffalo stepping in if they can step in. They have a great opportunity to do that. Chicago gets by Green Bay. Also, the LA Rams get by Carolina, and San Francisco put the Philadelphia Eagles to rest for the season. I want to start there because AJ Brown was talking all year about he's not getting enough touches, he's not getting this, that, the other. You get in the biggest game of your career, and you can't catch a cold. And so my thing is, and I was saying this at the midpoint of the season, that he was a distraction because he was making all this noise. And even though the offensive coordinator, I don't really like the offensive coordinator with the Philadelphia Eagles. They run a very, very high schoolish kind of offense. But when you have a quarterback who's putting the ball in your hands, there are no excuses. Philly should have won that game. They should have won that game going away. But Brown is a guy that Philly needs to let go.
Yeah, it's hard though because when he's on and then you connect him with Devin Smith, then that 1-2 punch can make a difference. And then of course with your running back, but it's gonna be hard because I think they've been up and down. Again, I said the reason why I thought they were gonna be up and down, Philadelphia, that is because the factor that they're there running Super Bowl. When you win the Super Bowl, you get full. It's hard to kind of repeat and get ramped up again. But I just thought that was their issue there. And the 49ers found a way to get it done. And it was amazing how they did it. But losing Kittle is gonna be major for them.
Yeah, it is. It is. Of course, last night, New England beats the Los Angeles Chargers. And it was kind of a rough game for New England. It wasn't one of those games where they just ran away with the game. The Chargers were coming in with that defense, and it took New England a while to kind of get over.
Yeah, I agree with that. But again, and I said this before, and everybody think I'm picking on people. poor quarterback play by the Chargers.
Yeah.
I've been talking about that quarterback for a long time.
I thought it was the line to me. The line.
It might have been, but whatever it is, all I'm saying to you is sometimes quarterbacks have to step up and make plays when the rest of your team is struggling. You have to step up and make things happen. And to score 3 points against the Patriots is just it's crazy to me. It just kind of shows you where Harbaugh's waiting for this team to kind of move forward because they do pretty good defensively, but waiting for somebody to bring them up offensively, and it really didn't happen. 3 points? That's crazy.
Yeah. And then you had Carolina, who have nothing to hold their head down about in that game against the Los Angeles Rams. I kind of felt that Carolina did enough to win that game, but Stafford came in and showed why he's an MVP candidate.
No doubt. Plus two, that's why I like the Rams. Because at any moment, once they get hot, get going, they start moving that ball around. You just never know what's gonna happen. So I like the way that they play. They play very inspired at times. And they are, especially with the quarterback, they are a moment's notice from like they came back and won that game. They just boom. It's like if you don't want it, I'll take it. Which I'm very interested to see how they're gonna play against everybody's talking about the cold weather with the Bears. Bears better be on their game.
Yeah.
Because I'm telling you, if you want to have a shootout, the Rams, they for it. Even when it's cold, they are for it. They
And I'm
will mess around
thinking
and be like,
Stafford used to play in the cold too. Um,
yeah, people don't remember that. They thought he was indoor guy. He's for that. 42 points.
Shouts out to Windhawk. Any predictions on this weekend?
Like I told you, as much as I like the Bears, I like them at home. I'm really rooting for their fans. I think the Rams gonna get them, man. Rams have nothing to lose. This is all the pressure's on the Bears because they're the 2 seed. Rams like playing with house money. Seahawks and 49ers. I want to choose 49ers, but the Seahawks at home and with Kittle being down, I think the Seahawks defense may get them. So I will go that route. We're also looking at the Bills and Broncos. I think Broncos been perpetrating all year long,
You've been saying it, but
all year long with their coach and whatnot, and they want to make Bo Nix this greatest quarterback, and they play hard. But Buffalo, like we got that experience, man. Let's go on and get this thing going. Like when they won before, and I think they're gonna try to do that again. And then you had the night Houston and then Pittsburgh. I really want to choose Houston. Well, Pittsburgh is just they just play nasty. And if they get out to CJ's gonna have to make some plays for them to win that game. And despite whoever wins that game, it don't matter. I'm going Patriots. I like Mike Vrabel. They don't care. They're not supposed to be here. Nobody thought they would be the number 2 seed. They had dropped down to 5 for a while. And they just don't care. They're young. They angry playing Mike Vrabel, Tennessee Titans football. And they just having fun. So I would go, I think the Patriots will advance no matter who comes out.
yeah, I think, and I saw a little bit of this in the 49ers game and their win, that they started using the fullback, almost like in the place of the tight end when Kittles went down. So I look forward to see how they're going to use the fullback catching the ball out the backfield or blocking or kind of filling in that space. I still think that San Francisco has that experience with playing with a lot of players hurt and still rolling on. I don't trust Sam Darnold with Seattle. I really don't. I know he's had 2 good seasons, one with Minnesota, now with Seattle, but I do think it'll go back to the old Sam Darnold, and that the San Francisco 49er defensive coordinator has to come up with a plan to get that guy to throw at least 2 picks. If you get 2 picks on Seattle, I think it'll make it a more interesting game. And I'm looking for San Francisco to win. I want to pick San Francisco for the Super Bowl, but I got to go with the Rams, and I got to go with the New England Patriots. I really liked what San Francisco was able to do, and they salvaged their season. And if they, who knows? If they can get lucky and get in there, who knows? Who knows? I don't trust the number 1 seed, Seattle and Denver. So I'm going to go with the 2 MVP candidates in the Super Bowl. And I'll
And
be
I can see
back
that.
next week changing it up if something changes.
Hey, like I told you earlier in the other show, I got Buffalo and the Rams.
Yeah,
It's just Buffalo's time, man. They long overdue. Allen, you keep making it. Name me another quarterback right there that's playing right now that is receiving the love. Maybe Maine, okay, because of the way he's playing this year. But the experience that Buffalo has and been there before, it's supposed to be their time. So we'll see.
we'll see. We'll see. It's wide open for them if they want it. Let's go to college basketball and our Michigan Wolverines. Not our, because I know you don't like that team up north, but Wisconsin got them. And I watched that game and it looked like they were partying, taking for granted that they'll just win by 30. And Wisconsin wasn't having it. They were all up in them. And they went to Michigan and won this game. They didn't do it at home. They went to Michigan. So I don't know if they were partying. They looked like they were running in quicksand. And you got Wisconsin, who is not even ranked. But if they have a couple of more games like that, they should be. Let's go through the top 10. Arizona is number one, followed by Iowa State. I got a chance to see them. They scare me. They scare me. They scare me. They're good. They're good. Followed by UConn. They had a scare last week. Michigan drops to number four, followed by Purdue, Duke. SMU had them in the first half, but Duke, I mean, that Boozer brother, in the second half, you can't touch him. You can't touch him. He's gonna do what he wants to do. It's like he takes your best shot, and then he just takes over the second half. Houston, ranked number seven, they holding on to that. Nebraska almost got smacked, almost, but they came back and salvaged that win. Followed by Gonzaga, I had a chance to watch them over the weekend. Vanderbilt had a chance to watch them. They're pretty good. Also, BYU, Michigan State, number 12. Illinois is creeping up. They have won five in a row and they're number 13, followed by North Carolina at number 14, and Texas Tech is number 15. Your eye test, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna go right there at number 8. Nebraska's for real, bro.
Yeah,
Nebraska. They beat Michigan State on the road. They beat Ohio State on the road, and they won another game, the last game. They strategically, and when you look at them, they remind me of almost, I'm gonna say mirror images, but the way that they play basketball, they remind me of Michigan State.
yeah,
They do. And to watch them play together against one another was very interesting. But they play hard. They get a little bit physical. They're not the biggest team in the world, but they play defense, they scrappy, and they do just enough. That's what they play the type of basketball that you want them to ramp up right around tournament time. You just don't want them to peak too much. But I watched them. I watched them closely, and they do. Ohio State's not a horrible team, but to beat Ohio State in Columbus and then also to win up in Ann Arbor, that's saying something. And I like the way that that team's played. So from that standpoint, Houston is scary. Almost lost to Cincinnati, but they hung out. Houston, I think they like a little chaos a little bit, and they played because they were down in Cincinnati pretty much the first half, and then they came back on. I think they like the chaos. But I'll say this too: Arizona's flowing, but this is what they do every year. They run all these, and then maybe it's a different team, but they run early on, and you go, and then you look around the tournament and they break your heart. I like Iowa State because I think nobody really saw them coming. They're out there by default because no one else knows what to do with them as far as the media is concerned.
yeah.
So
In the
you got
Big
to put them up
12,
there when they,
seems like if,
huh?
if it's not Kansas, nobody pays attention to the Big 12.
Yeah, 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 yeah. In Michigan, what you gonna do? You lose one game, it's first game of the season that they lost. Everybody can have an off night, never have nothing there. I tell you, UConn's been kind of quietly just kind of staying right in that area without doing too much. Vanderbilt, right? Up and coming. Vanderbilt is up and coming. And then from that standpoint, now we're just looking at what happens as these guys continue to move forward. I still think it's gonna be a lot of as we get into going more into conference play, it's going to be a lot of teams that get upset, and we might see somebody brand new coming out as far as surprising people for the rest of the regular season.
Yeah, because you kind of almost got they had to go to overtime to prevent them from having another L in their schedule. Some of the big games coming up this week: Tennessee, Texas A&M, Michigan State, and Indiana, who I think almost beat Nebraska, if I'm not mistaken. You have
Mhm.
Virginia, and they're playing Louisville. You have Clemson, who's number 22. Clemson's a pretty good team too. They're going to be playing Boston College, UConn, and Seton Hall. You have Alabama and Mississippi State. You have Florida and Oklahoma, Nebraska and Oregon. So you got some good games coming up. Doug Collins' son at Northwestern, Illinois. They play later on this week. Vanderbilt and Texas. That should be a barn burner. And Utah State. Nobody's talking about them, but they're a good team out west. They're going to be playing Nevada. And it's going to be a really good week. Arizona State and Arizona. That's always a good rivalry game. And I kind of think because TCU really kind of put a scare in some teams, they're going to be playing BYU. But I kind of think I want to see the Duke California game because I'm thinking that Duke, they've been playing on such a high for so long that maybe there is time for a letdown. Maybe it's time for a letdown. And teams need to really kind of figure out shut down the Boozer kid in the second half. Don't worry about him in the first half. Shut him down in the second half. Any games that you're looking forward to watch?
Yeah, as I look forward, I'm trying to really see if something jumps out at me. Like I said, there are certain teams that I can watch no matter what. But let me ask you this question. Do you think St. John's is just overrated now since we everybody's coming back down to earth, if you will?
I don't think they're overrated. To me, when I watch them, they haven't built that chemistry yet. They haven't built that chemistry yet because usually teams get into the preseason tournaments and they start to
Hmm.
build a chemistry and figure out who they are. I don't, this is not a Rick Pitino team yet, but I think coming down during the season and down the stretch, I think they will start to turn into that team, but they're not there yet. It's almost like they just need just a little bit more time to kind of bake in the oven a little bit and cook a little bit for them to be that team that's going to be a scary team in the tournament.
I have two more. I have two for you. One on both of these are on Saturday. Michigan State at Washington. Reason why I say that, Washington beat Ohio State, who traveled out to Spokane, and they were able to beat them by like almost 10 points. So that was a very interesting game from that standpoint for them to get that win. Another one will be Alabama versus Oklahoma. Iowa State at Cincinnati.
Yeah, that should be a good one.
The way that they played against Houston, if they step up with that same attitude, it's going to be a good one. And last but not least, Florida versus Vanderbilt.
Yeah, I got to see Florida over the weekend, and they're looking like they're catching their stride a little bit. They're
So
still
that'll
right there
be
in
a
the
good.
top 25, and they're going to be catching their stride. And once they do, it's going to be lights out for a lot of teams playing them in the
Yeah,
SEC.
particularly with Vanderbilt being ranked so high right now. This
Yeah,
is a perfect game for Florida to show who they are this year.
yeah. Let's go to NBA basketball, and I want to go to one particular trade and a potential trade. Trae Young got traded to the Washington Wizards. I don't know why he wanted to go to the Washington Wizards because over the years it's been rumored that he was going to go to the LA Lakers to help out the point guard situation there, but it didn't happen. And remember, him and Luca were switched at when they were drafted, and so I would think that they would try to get them two together, and because the days of LeBron playing point guard is just over. And Luca won't pass the ball, and he's going to shoot anything he sees. If he gets a little look at the basket, he's going to shoot. But then John Morant, I'm wondering where John Morant will end up because he needs a relocation area where it's out of Memphis. Memphis is a little bit rough. Maybe he's trying to take on the personality of the city because it's a little rough city. I hear is really rough and they don't play. It's been put on the map as one of those places you don't want to be playing around in. You don't know the terrain. So he needs to change the scenery. There have been some talk that he may go out to Milwaukee, and that may be a good move for him. Any other teams in the NBA who could use a Ja Morant? He's not happy in Memphis, so he's trying to get out of it.
Yeah, I was gonna say I nicknamed a place before, and I don't think he'll do well out there because I don't really think they have a structure. You go to Sacramento, it's the land of gun and mother. So I don't think he'll do fit in well there. But a team that could really possibly use him if he wants to really play. Ooh, that'd be too much too, though. But ooh, ooh, that wouldn't be bad though. But it might be too much firepower. But if he wanted to play and you could get out of it without giving up everything, I'm gonna say this, and you're gonna say no, the Knicks. Yeah. Now see, when you say something like that, because some most Knicks fans are stuck in that we got Big Cat, we got Brunson. But remember, years ago, when the Knicks went over and brought in Earl the Pearl Monroe to work with Clyde, you two like minds, guys that can really play. Because John Moran can play. Let's be real, okay?
He
He can
can play.
play.
But
Now,
is his head in the game now, or is it other places? That's the thing.
but you don't know. You is that worth the risk? Because right now the Knicks ain't going nowhere. And you got a coach now. You got. I'm not saying the other coach wasn't good, but Mike Brown's been in that mix with championship basketball. And if you tell John Morant, "Hey, we trying to win a title here. You want to come in here? Let's do something." I don't know. Maybe that's just too far fetched. But if you're trying to win, I can see something like that.
Well, who
And
would the
and
Knicks give up? Because I can't see anybody that would give up at this particular point.
I mean, well, as long as you don't give up Brunson, and I mean, what? I mean, you say who'd you give up? Is it you say, well, we ain't giving up Josh Hart or whatever? You had to just say this though. You got to be honest. I mean, in my opinion, who on that squad when John Morant's head is right, besides Brunson, can outplay? Tell me,
Yeah.
who'd you not give up?
No,
Tell me who's
I wouldn't give up
untouchable.
the small forward that they have. I would not give him up.
Okay, that's fine. But other than that, who's not untouchable? I mean, Big Cat because you still need a big dude.
Yeah.
But who else is untouchable on that team?
You're gonna get rid of Bridges? I wouldn't get rid of Bridges.
I mean, Bridges. I mean, I ain't saying get rid of him, but if I had to choose between Bridges, I mean, nah, because it's the combination. They got picks too. You know, the Knicks got a
Yes,
million
yes.
picks. Get rid of some of them picks and bring you a solid dude. That would, I mean, you get him out of Memphis. He may need the spotlight and bright lights. And Brunson needs a number two.
Yeah, that's true.
He needed two. He need a wingman. So I don't know.
Can you explain the Trey Young going to the Wizards? Because I can't figure that one out. He wanted to go there.
Well, when you look at this team with the Washington Wizards, and I was looking at the depth chart, you say to yourself, why would you want to go somewhere like that? They are they're a young team, and you bring some excitement to the table what Trey Young can do, and you look at that team. So it'll be Trey Young, young man's playing real well. Keshawn George is playing real well for them, playing balling out. Bilal is
Poole.
balling for him at small forward. Chris Middleton, another vet, that's championship pedigree as well, and he's gonna do whatever he needs to do to make sure that they win. And a sleeper at center is Alex Sarr. So you bring that combination of that and the guy that's been trying to win for a long time with a lot of the pressure on him collectively, they could be okay. And the pressure's not on him. And I think he likes the DC area. So let's run. And I think he said, hey, you tried everything with me as the guy in Atlanta, it didn't work. You try to bring this guy in now, you want to get rid of me. So let me go and let me just play ball. And you think about that from that standpoint, still got guys like Marvin Bagley, uh, a few Malachi Branham is on that squad.
Yeah.
So there's still some talent on that roster. And you have to ask yourself, Trey Young coming in there as now a grizzled veteran, right? Not trying to score all the points, getting people involved because now he's showing you that when he wants to, he can be a decent point guard. He can pass the ball, move the ball around. If he really is serious about wanting to play basketball and win, this may not be a bad spot for him to kind of work on his game.
But just like Luca, he's a defensive liability.
Okay,
He's a defensive
right,
liability. The other,
right.
and I need to circle back a little bit. The other rumor that's going around with John Morant is him to Golden State. And I'm thinking if they can work out another team, a 3-team trade for Kaminga, John Morant, and somebody else, and throw another team in the mix, because Steph Curry needs help. He's not getting any help. Hield and Butler, they're not helping. They're not helping.
I,
He made a number
I
two.
keep But if you don't want him in New York, why the hell would you send him to Golden State? They don't want that. I don't think they want that. If he can't do well with the Knicks, do you think he really would try to defer to Steph Curry?
I think he would. I think Steph has that respect in the league that he would, to be honest with
Oh, no, you've been gunning since you were probably 8. I'm just saying, it takes a special dude to you gotta when you are the guy, I think the same thing can be said about Damian Lillard. Damian Lillard was in Portland putting that thing boop, 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 every night. And now you pull him back and try to make him pass, that dribble pass and picks and all that stuff. And he got lost because it's not his game. So it's almost even though the Milwaukee let him go, I think he could not wait to go back to Portland because the pressure's off. So I don't know if John Moran would how he would deal with that because we know what Steve Kerr's gonna do. You gotta learn how to play inside that system. That's the other thing problem too. John Moran has been the man for so long.
you. Yeah,
Can you lower your ego? Can you bring your game down so you can play with some other superstars? That's a talent in itself.
yeah. All right, man. We're gonna skip what's on your mind, son. We're gonna go to our last second shot because we got a football game to watch. And so your last second shot, man.
I saw recently where the Columbus Blue Jackets, where I live in Columbus, Ohio, fired their head coach. There's been turmoil, and they hired an assistant to try to spark something in this team. This franchise has been off and on for years, trying to do some things, and nothing's really worked out. Let me remind you, at one point they had Sergei Bobrovsky, which is the one of the top goaltenders in NHL hockey. And I tell you this, he was in Columbus for 6 years. He's going to Florida. He signed a 7-year contract. And then all of a sudden, team wins back-to-back Stanley Cups. He's right there doing this thing the last couple of years in Columbus. They were winning more games than they had in a long time. He was an all-star. He started coming along. And Columbus did not take the time to build around him. Instead, they wanted to point the finger at him, saying he was the reason why they were losing. But deep down inside, we're seeing now perhaps that they were making faulty and bad decisions in the front office. It's like having a King Griffey Jr. and you want to keep pointing to him, like maybe start looking at the talent around him. All I know is Bobrovsky left, won 2 championships, and Columbus continues to struggle.
And Harbaugh been saying that he should go to Atlanta to coach because they got a quarterback and they got a running back. And I'm like, didn't he have a quarterback and a running back in Baltimore? These guys, these experts on these shows really are comical because he has a better quarterback and a better running back in Baltimore, couldn't do anything with him. Now you're sending him to Atlanta thinking that he's going to be the answer to a quarterback. I don't know which quarterback they're talking about, Kirk Cousins and the running back Robinson. And that are they better than what he just left? I don't think so. But I'm really tired, and I talked to Pop about this. I'm really tired of them retreading the old coaches that just got fired and thinking they'll just because you change the team that they'll do better in these teams. Get some new blood in there to coach. These coaches, Harbaugh's been there for 18 years. Come on, man. Come on, get some new coaching. Let them kind of cool down for a while, at least a year or two, and find some other coaches. They still go to this old boy network of coaches that you're going to be getting the same product just warmed over in the NFL. And we're tired of that. If you continue to do this, NFL, and just rehash these old coaches and just recycle them, it's going to really take your game down. And you're going to get less viewership because all you're doing is playing musical chairs with these coaches who haven't been successful where they left, and you're putting them in new situations where it's even worse than what they left. So, take a look at that. Maybe give them a year when they get fired. They got money. Give them a year or two. And it's just kind of just let them sit until, they can get themselves together. They can figure out what they did wrong and then come back instead of trying to refurbish them in the next season. It doesn't work for me, and it's not working for the NFL. You want to say something there? I can see you itching to say something. Go ahead.
I get that, and I agree with you 100%. I think there needs to be more new blood in the NFL, like the factor that the Miami Dolphin former coaches even getting recognition for possibly an opportunity to coach again is for an interview. I
Yeah.
really don't get that. I'm blown away by that. I will say this though, if I am one team, and I don't know if it's gonna help or not, and maybe he'll do the same thing he did in Baltimore. But if I'm this team, you need some structure. Now, granted, everything is chaotic. Bring Harbaugh home. Cleveland, hire this man.
He said he didn't
Hire
want to
him.
go. I read that. He was like, please don't call me for an interview. I don't want to go.
No, I read that they were interested. He was interested.
Okay.
That's what I read. When did you read that?
I read that yesterday where he's like, please don't call me for an interview. I don't want to go to Cleveland.
Wow, we got to look at that one because
Yeah.
I thought they said that he would entertain it.
And why would you even go to Cleveland? Wow.
That's where you from. Imagine if he turned Cleveland around.
Yeah, that's been imagined a lot for a lot of years for a lot of
Yeah, but
quarterbacks.
let's be
Come
real.
on.
You have not had the coaches. Come on, come on. Let's be real. Okay, as much as you want to talk about Stefanski, two-time, whatever, he's shown me this year that it's just chaotic and he got caught up in whatever the hell was going on. That you don't like somebody and they might be the best player, you don't want to play it. They showed you between him and the general manager, they have screwed this up. And I'm not saying that Harbaugh didn't do bad with Lamar Jackson either. But sometimes you need somebody that will be invested in it. If he wants to go, like you said, if he's not going, don't want to go at all, it's a no-brainer. We shouldn't even have a discussion. This dude is homegrown. He would invest in the city, he would invest in the community, and if they were able to turn this around and win and make solid decisions, that quarterback thing is all that's messed up. I'm just saying, and now they talk. I would rather have him than bringing in the former Miami coach to Cleveland. That's even more crazier. But like I said, I digress.
I like I said, same thing warmed over. I mean, it's going to be the same thing. He's going to be in the same division. It's just going to be warmed over. That's it.
So let me. We're gonna go a little deeper into this. Tell me though, who else could turn this? Who do you? That's new.
I
What?
don't know, but
Flores? Flores?
just to read. No, I don't agree with him either because he couldn't coach when he was in Miami. Let some of these. I mean, you didn't do well. I mean, and they're just offering that to Flores just to kind of just weighing down the lawsuit that he has on. They're not going to give him a job. And so, somebody interviewed him, so we don't have to say that he's being discriminated against. But it's just give some other coaches the opportunity to coach out of the college ranks, somebody else, because just rehashing these old, it's the same thing over again. They're just playing musical chairs, as far as I'm concerned. You're still gonna get the same product. You're still gonna get Harbaugh, who can't keep a lead at the end of the game in Cleveland. You're gonna get that coach in Miami who might go to Cleveland somewhere else, and the players sit down on him. They don't want to play for him because I don't know if he's smoking weed or whatever he's doing, and all these other coaches. It's like it's the same thing over and over again. Just like the Washington Commander coach came out of Atlanta and flopped in the Super Bowl. He ain't doing nothing there. Who expected him to do anything? Magic Johnson Group? Who expected him to do anything? And so you get these old coaches. They even talking about bringing back the old coach from the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, McCarthy.
Yeah, they're talking about bringing him back. Why? Why? Chip Kelly. I bet you somebody offered Chip Kelly a job. I bet you. I mean, getting these old coaches, I'm pretty sure they're probably reaching out to Brian Kelly. He's looking for a job probably. So, unless you let him go. So quit rehashing these coaches that can't coach. They can't coach. They're not good at it. If you're not good at it, then, you shouldn't be given opportunity after opportunity after opportunity to do it. That's just all I'm saying.
Chip Kelly already got a job in Northwestern.
Chip Kelly, yeah, Northwestern. I don't know what they're thinking. And one of the people up here said, we just need to kick Northwestern out the Big Ten because they're not serious about winning football. They're not. They're not.
But if you can win in Columbus, you can't win in Chicago.
Chip Kelly?
He's not the head coach. He's a coordinator.
He was a coordinator with the Raiders, and they didn't even know what he was
It's college and pro. It's different. Come on.
Okay.
Come on.
Okay. What did he do at UCLA?
He was the head coach.
Yeah, but he didn't do anything.
He was the head coach. What did he do in Columbus?
He didn't do anything.
What did he do in Columbus?
I don't know what he did in Columbus.
Okay, they won the national championship. All right, but I got it.
All right, man. That's our show. We're gonna continue to argue about this. We'll see you next week.
You don't know what you're talking about. I can try to tell you don't know what you're talking about.